Riyad, Souza, Imre, Deveni, Rodney, Hughes, Pino and Uche. Chelsea have a debutant on the bench potentially in Sharman Lowe, the keeper, who's just been recalled from Bolton. They also have Hato, Achimpong, Gusto, Fofana, Garnacho, Gittings, Delap and Guiu. A few missing for both sides. Nketiah, Kamada and Klein still on the injury shortlist for Crystal Palace. And Cole Palmer, Jorgensen, Tossin and Levi Colwell still injured for the away side. So Crystal Palace will be in their familiar red and blue stripes. Chelsea in their white away kit this afternoon as we are getting ready. It looks a bit of a wet afternoon with interchangeable weather, as always in England. Could make things a little bit interesting for both sets of players. So home form not been the best for Crystal Palace, not won in the Premier League here since the 1st of November. Chelsea's away form not great either. Haven't won away since the 22nd of November. So unless we get another draw to make it 4 in a row in this fixture, something has to give. Oliver Glasner making his way out to the dugout. Obviously announced recently that he will be leaving at the end of the season after that fantastic FA Cup victory at the end of last year. He'll be looking to try and steer his side away from potential relegation. Crystal Palace might be looking over their shoulder after West Ham's victory yesterday against Sunderland. Only 8 points clear of the drop currently. They do still have European plans in the playoff round for the Europa Conference League next month. So both sets of players have done the intermediaries, they've shaken hands, and we're pretty much ready to go here at Selhurst Park. It will be Chelsea to get us underway, and they will be shooting from right to left. And it's João Pedro who's going to be tasked with the kick-off, and the whistle goes and we're underway, and João Pedro sends that straight back to Robert Sanchez, all in green this afternoon, the Spaniard, and all the players go into the Crystal Palace half. So Sanchez launched it long and left to start with, headed away by Munoz, back in the side this afternoon for Crystal Palace. Chelsea keep possession with Badiashile knocking it back to his keeper. Bit of a slow start from both sides in the first 30 seconds. No real press from Crystal Palace just yet. Ball with Badiashile in the left-back position. He finds Pedro Neto ahead of him, who flicks it neatly up the line for Cucurella, who will run into the Crystal Palace half at speed. Plays the ball in towards João Pedro. And go all the way across to Esteval, the Brazilian, who finds Enzo outside him and pulls it across the goal. And that's gone through everyone. And that will be a flick off of one of the defenders, and that will be a corner. Good endeavour from Enzo to get round the back, and it fizzed the ball across the face of the goal. Reece James, the Chelsea captain this afternoon, coming over to take this corner. Plenty to aim for in the box. João Pedro right in front of Dean Henderson to make life difficult for the England keeper. Ball comes in towards the near post, and it's a free kick given by our match official. There's a push in there by Badiashile. Trevor Chalobah in there as well, making nuisance of himself. So free kick to Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson, all in orange, just places the ball down in the 6-yard area, and then Crystal Palace get us underway, and it's sent forward and long up towards Mateta, who's battling with Chalobah, can't bring the ball down, but Brennan Johnson pressuring in behind, but good defending from Chelsea as Reece James just mops that up in a good defensive area. Chalobah with his right arm still taped together in bright white tape, plays it on to Andre Santos in the centre, and Chelsea just pop it around in midfield. Good footwork from Santos, but can't go forward, so he has to come back to Chalobah. Chalobah and Badiashile just trade passes before Badiashile sends it forward. It's intercepted by Crystal Palace. Adam Wharton in the midfield. It's now back with Maxime Lacroix, just in front of his own box. Finds Chris Richards before sending it back to Dean Henderson. Adam Wharton picks it up just outside his own area, drives forward and plays the ball up to Mateta on halfway. He tries to knock it to Brennan Johnson. He can't get the ball to the Welshman, but does win himself a free kick on halfway for Crystal Palace. Kick taken quickly out to the right hand side, where Colombian Daniel Munoz picks the ball up and he'll switch it over to the left, where Tyrion Mitchell just places it back in towards the centre backs. Lacroix moves it to the left hand side. JD Canvo at the back for Crystal Palace this afternoon. Only his third start in the Premier League. Sends the ball forward towards Mateta. Been wrestled off of it. Chelsea in possession, but in their own penalty box, and Sanchez has to clear that long left-footed. Canvo does well to wrestle the ball off of Pedro Neto. Maxime Lacroix has it on halfway. He plays it to the left to find Chris Richards. Richards playing on the left side of that defence this afternoon, usually on this right-hand side. Has swapped with the young Frenchman, Canvo. Chris Richards usually has that iconic big afro haircut. Has all been trimmed down by the looks of things today. A new sleek look for the American centre-back. Chelsea in possession on halfway, and it's Estevao, the exciting Brazilian, tries to go on the outside of Mitchell, who puts the ball into touch, so throw into Chelsea just in front of the dugouts. Throw in taken back to Reece James, and Chelsea will begin their possession just in their back line, and it's Badiashile plays it over to Trevor Chalobah. Chelsea will try and come forward with Reece James, who clips the ball into the channel over halfway, and too strong there for João Pedro, so that'll roll all the way through to Dean Henderson. 8 clean sheets for Dean Henderson in the Premier League this year. Obviously, as mentioned previously, picking up the captain's armband after Mark Gay. He might have some work to do here as Pedro Neto managed to nick the ball high up, but Palace alert the danger. Now Palace can try and break on this right-hand side. Mateta finds Munoz, who's now level with the edge of the area. Cuts it back in for Mateta, whose shot is charged down and hacked away by Cucurella, and that'll roll all the way through to the Crystal Palace captain. He just sends it first time to Chris Richards, and Palace will come again with Lacroix. Out to the right-hand side for Daniel Munoz. He finds Wharton inside under pressure. So Wharton just turns around and gives it back to his defence. Palace happy just to keep the possession in the back line, and it's young Canvo. Trades passes with Wharton, but Wharton's just going to use his brief experience in the Premier League to knock that back to Captain Henderson. Lacroix takes the ball off his keeper just on the edge of the area, finds Canvo, knocks it up the line towards Sarr, but Chelsea win the header, and Chelsea will have possession on halfway with Caicedo, who's fouled by Adam Wharton. And that'll be a free kick for Chelsea, just inside the centre circle. Taken quickly by the away side, and it's Reece James just inside his own half, who looked to go forward but then just cuts inside and knocks the ball to Trevor Chalobah. He trades some nice passes, and Chelsea break through the lines over on the left hand side now with Neto, but he's slowed down by Munoz, and Chelsea keep possession by retreating into their own half. They go from left to right this time, and it's Reece James who knocks it into Estevao, but again strong challenge from Crystal Palace. But that long clearance will go all the way through to Trevor Chalobah just in front of his own penalty area. Pedro Neto's playing on this left-hand side and got themselves in a bit of trouble here. And Jean-Philippe Mateta's into the box one-on-one with the keeper, and it's a great save with the leg by Robert Sanchez. And that's a glorious opportunity. It was Badiashile caught in possession by Ismail Assar, and the ball fell lovely for Jean-Philippe Mateta. He struck it right-footed down to the keeper's right. And Sanchez able to kick it away on the one-on-one. Mateta in the end striking the ball into the floor and down the centre of the goal. And you thought that was going to be Premier League goal number 9 for the French striker. A great save from Robert Sanchez. Also 8 clean sheets in the Premier League this season for the Spanish keeper. And after 8 minutes, it's still 0-0. That's a glorious opportunity for the home team. So there'll be a long throw on this near side. In it comes, and its players have gone down from both sides. We decide to play on, and Munoz finds Chris Richards, who's on this right-hand side after that long throw, and Cucurella wins the throw-in off of the Colombian right-sided player. As we see the throw-in come in, it was Lerma that hit the deck with a challenge from Cucurella. Not a lot in that for me, and we are, after a VAR check, ready to carry on. It's going to be a throw-in on this left-hand side. Cucurella with the long sleeve and gloves throws it in short, and it's cleared up towards João Pedro, but Wharton will win the play back for Crystal Palace. Tries to thread a lovely ball through to Mateta. There's a good sliding tackle in there from Caicedo. Now Chelsea would come away. Reece James into the other half, plays the ball into the channel towards João Pedro. He does get there, but it's a great tackle from Lacroix, and then hacked away by Mitchell. Santos' header goes out of play. That'll be a throw-in on the left-hand side for the home team. Fast pace to this game. Palace get it underway straight away. Canvo goes long up towards Mateta, but Badiashile manages to clear it up into the air and flicked on by Cucurella into the path of João Pedro. Good tackle from Munoz again on Cucurella, and that'll be a throw-in on the left-hand side. Munoz just limps away from that tackle. Hasn't featured for Crystal Palace since that 1-0 win against Burnley. He got the winner on the 3rd of December. I'll be delighted to have him back. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists from that right wing-back position. Ball down the line to Pedro Neto, and Canvo comes across and takes it off him, and that'll be a corner again to Chelsea on this near side. 10 minutes gone in South London. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 0. Liam Rosenior's second Premier League game in charge. Won his first one last week in that 2-0 victory against Brentford at home. Back-to-back London derbies for Liam Rosenior. Reece James to deliver the ball again towards the near post. Headed away by Mateta, but behind for another corner on the same side. It'll be Reece James once more to deliver. Plenty of players in around the 6-yard area once more. Just a little bit of a delay getting the ball back from the crowd. Ismail Assar was in there helping out with Jean-Philippe Mateta to get that ball away. Ismail Assar obviously back from African Cup of Nations duty as a winner with Senegal. Right, we're finally ready for this corner once more, and it's going to be Reece James again from this near side, clips into the near post again, headed up in the air by Munoz. Flicked away by Brennan Johnson, and Crystal Palace can clear the lines. Picked up by Caicedo, who finds Enzo on the right-hand side. He tries to hook a ball into the box first time. Badiashile gets the first contact, but it will go back out of the box for Cucurella, then lobs it in towards the penalty spot. Bouncing around in the box from both sets of players. Lacroix goes to the floor, but nothing given. Chelsea still in possession on the left-hand side. Ball slid down the line to Cucurella, who gets to the byline, crosses the ball in deep towards the back post. Headed away, but only as far as Caicedo. Caicedo finds the young Estevao, who gives it back to his midfielder in support. Goes from right to left for Chelsea, and it's Reece James, and then switches it back to Estevao on the right-hand side. Cuts in on his left foot and drifts across the pitch before just passing back to Trevor Chalobah. Good build-up play from Chelsea. Reece James decides to put the ball into the box towards Cucurella. Goes to ground, nothing given. And that'll run through to Pedro Neto. Twists away from Daniel Munoz. Finds Cucurella once more by the byline. He crosses it in. Across the box is going to fall for Enzo Fernandez, whose shot goes over the bar on the half volley. The Argentine runs straight to the match official, pointing at an arm as the ball came across. It was only Fernandez appealing for the handball. Doesn't look like anything in that to me. The shot did take a bit of a deflection, so it should have been a corner, but it's a goal kick that has been given. Enzo in good scoring form in the Premier League. 6 goals this season for the Argentine. So scored in those back-to-back games with Bournemouth and City, that equaliser in the Man City game, which was Callum McFarlane's first of 2 games in charge since the sacking of Enzo Maresca. Long ball from Crystal Palace, that's going to roll all the way through for a throw-in to Chelsea on the right-hand side. So Reece James right down by his own corner flag, as Nottingham Forest have taken the lead away at Brentford in the Premier League this afternoon. Goal from Igor Jesus. Obviously Forest looking to respond after West Ham's crucial victory yesterday against Sunderland, and Crystal Palace probably will be looking over their shoulder slightly. Only 8 points the gap at the moment. However, a win today for Crystal Palace could take them up to 12 and above bitter rivals Brighton. Chelsea in possession with Cucurella on halfway, who plays the ball down the line towards Neto, but Munoz gets across and knocks it back to his keeper. And Henderson right footer can send it up away and over the halfway line. A good out of play for a throw-in on the left-hand side. 15 minutes gone at Selhurst Park. Still goalless here in this London derby. Ruther Glasner out on his technical area, trying to get some instructions across to his side. Palace with the best opportunity of the match so far, that Jean-Philippe Mateta one-on-one chance, but forced a good save from Robert Sanchez. Enzo did fire over as well just a minute ago for Chelsea, so one chance each for both teams. Chelsea find themselves in possession with Trevor Chalobah just in front of his own penalty area. He plays it up to Reece James on the right-hand side. James under pressure from Johnson just turns around and then finds Caicedo in the middle of the park, who plays a lovely ball out to Estevao on the right-hand side. Estevao's going to run at Tyreek Mitchell, drifts in field onto his left foot and plays a ball over to Pedro Neto on the corner of the other side of the box. Ball in from him, and it's cleared away by Palace, bouncing around in the box for Caicedo, who shoots and cuts across it. There's a couple of yards wide from the left-hand post in the end. But as he ran on and hit that, it was a good strike. Just didn't quite fall for him. And that shot from distance, wide in the end from the Ecuadorian. 3 goals for Caicedo in the Premier League. Scored the winner in the Champions League in the week in that 1-0 victory with Paphos. Chelsea will be back in European action on Wednesday. The last round of the Champions League games could be vital for Chelsea as well, who are looking to try and get into those 8 playoff positions to go straight through to the last 16. So, free kick to Crystal Palace. Badiashile just a little bit too aggressive on the press, and Palace back underway with Lacroix midway inside his own half. He's going to go long and centre up towards Mateta, but cleared away by Chalobah, picked up by Wharton, who finds Mateta, and then Munoz on the right hand side. First time delivery from Munoz is a really good one, and it's cleared behind by Santos, with Brennan Johnson waiting just behind him. That'll be a corner on the far side for the home team. Palace really have missed Daniel Munoz. They'll be delighted to have him back. The Colombian. So lots of players inside the 6-yard box from both sides. Chelsea have conceded 7 headed goals already this season, the 4th most in the Premier League. So Palace will be looking to try and surround Robert Sanchez. It's going to be delivered in. It's driven towards the back post where Lerma was getting up, and it's over the bar. And that'll be a goal kick. Jefferson Lerma felt that the last touch was of Caicedo. In fact, the last touch was actually off João Pedro, so should have been another corner there, but nothing given. Chelsea take the goal kick short, and then Robert Sanchez on the second attempt plays it long towards Neto, but headed away by Canvo, but only into midfield, where João Pedro picks up in the centre circle. Good tackle from Adam Wharton. Palace come away with it, but sloppy pass from Lerma. Both sides trading possession, as Lerma then intercepts to make up for his mistake, and the ball is back with Lacroix on the edge of his area. Lacroix, the Frenchman who started every Premier League game for Crystal Palace this season, incredibly important to that back line. Very pacey centre-back, the 25-year-old Frenchman. He's got young Canvo next to him, who he finds. Nice footwork from Canvo and Munoz to get it up the line, but it's then stolen away by Chelsea on halfway, and Pedro Neto will break towards the box. Wharton's back with a great tackle to cover for Canvo, who had gone forward. And the English midfielder then breaks away and finds AFCON winner Sarr. Sarr trades it back to Wharton, who's caught late by Caicedo. That's a yellow card for the Ecuadorian, the 6th of the season. Has also picked up 1 red card this year. Yeah, Wharton just moved the ball on to the left-hand side, and in a bid to try and block it, Caicedo's stood on Adam Wharton's foot. Perhaps a little bit soft, but here's a 6th yellow card for the Ecuadorian. 20 minutes gone. Still goalless in the Premier League between Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Liam Rosenia just out in his technical area, trying to get some information across to the far side where the ball is, and it's stolen away by Badiashile, and it will be picked up by Cucurella on halfway. Then finds Andre Santos. They switch it to the right for Reece James. He goes forward to Enzo Fernandez under pressure, so the Argentine turns around, and Chelsea will work it back to their defence, and it's now all the way back to Robert Sanchez, who plays into Andre Santos, who took a bit of a risk with Mateta, but it's paid off, and he finds João Pedro. Chelsea try and break. Cucurella's ball across the pitch is intercepted by Tyreek Mitchell, and the English left back, under a little bit of pressure, just turns around and finds Dean Henderson. So Henderson looks like to be the new club captain for Crystal Palace after the loss of Mark Gahey There's been a goal at St James's Park, and it's Newcastle 0, Aston Villa 1. Buendia for the away side. Lacroix with the ball for Crystal Palace. Goes back to Adam Wharton, and Palace just trying to keep a little bit of possession in their own half. Lerma tries to slip a ball out left to Mitchell, and there's too much on it from Jefferson Lerma. Hasn't had a lot of minutes for Crystal Palace this season. It's only his 9th Premier League start this season. Been here since 2022 after signing from Bournemouth, so plenty of experience in this league, but a sloppy pass from him gives Chelsea possession back, and the ball is with Trevor Chalobah. He goes out to Reece James on the right hand side. He's down the line for Estevao. He's been kept quiet by Mitchell so far, the young Brazilian. Mitchell manages to smuggle the ball away, and that'll be a throw in for Crystal Palace on the left hand side. Well appreciated by Oliver Glasner there. He gets a high five from his manager. Adam Wharton in midfield flicks it over to Mitchell on the left hand side. Under pressure from Fernandez, so drifts back into the centre. Then Wharton then switches it from left to right towards Munoz. Good header by Cucurella, but his second ball's picked up by Sarr, and then Canvo just inside the Chelsea half. Munoz goes down the line for Ismail Assar. Tries to give a 1-2, but good defensive shape from Chelsea. Forces the ball back to young JD Canvo. Happy to bring the ball forward, and then finds Munoz on the right hand side. Slides it down the line for Sarr. 2 players around him, so goes back to Munoz in support, and then back once more to Canvo. Wharton then sends a direct ball to Sarr, and Crystal Palace just trading really short passes before Wharton then swings the ball in towards the box, and it's just too strong for Tyrone Mitchell coming in at the back post. The England midfielder just shakes his head and sticks a hand up in apology. A good ball in from Adam Wharton. Still no Premier League goal for the English midfielder. He's picked up 2 assists this season. One of those assists in the last win that Crystal Palace had on the 7th of December in the Premier League. Chelsea get themselves away, and it's Pedro Neto that are bringing it over halfway. Sprinting down the left, he's going to get into a foot race with Lacroix. Lacroix will win that one easily and shepherd the ball out of play. Lacroix looks to the home fans behind the goal for a little bit of support. Raises his arms to them, and a big roar goes up from the home support. Good defending from the Frenchman. So important to the way that Oliver Glasner wants to play Maxime Lacroix. .25 now, Maxime Lacroix has never actually picked up any French youth caps other than under 17s. But for me, can't be far off a full call-up soon, surely. Good pressure from the Crystal Palace midfield, and Enzo Fernandez has to knock it off of Brennan Johnson for a throw-in to Chelsea on the right-hand side, inside their own half. Jefferson Lerma just trying to follow Enzo Fernandez everywhere they go. The battle of the number 8s this afternoon, and the referee just stepping in to have a word between the two of them. Reece James throws the ball back to Chalobah, just takes one touch and then knocks it back to Robert Sanchez. His orange gloves flapping around as he knocks the ball onto the left-hand side for Badiashile. Badiashile back to Sanchez, and then Sanchez sends it long. That's going to take 3 bounces all the way through to Dean Henderson, who just picks it up and rolls it straight out to the yellow boots of JD Canvo. Canvo just happy to turn around and give it to his more experienced partners in Lacroix and then Richards. Richards back to Lacroix. It's now worked over to this right-hand side with Canvo. Canvo finds Adam Wharton, who plays a direct ball towards Mateta, but cut out by Santos, who then Sends the ball forward to João Pedro on his own. Twists away from Lacroix and finds Estevan on the left-hand side. He nutmegs Richards. Tries to put a ball across. It's blocked away in the end and then hooked away further up towards Saran halfway, who put Badiashile under pressure. Good counter-attacking play from the home team. They win themselves a throw-in midway inside Chelsea's half on the left-hand side. Ismail Assou came back as an African Nations Cup champion with Senegal. Did play in the final, came off the bench in that chaotic final, if you did see it, before his side won in extra time for their second national trophy. Hasn't actually got a goal himself for Crystal Palace since September, so we're looking to try and get back in this side with a good run of games and goal involvements. Long throw from Richards towards the corner of the box. It's flicked on by a Crystal Palace head, and then Sarr himself got in front of Sanchez and turned it towards goal, but it has gone wide. Chelsea not dealing with that long throw. In fact, the last touch was off Reece James as the throw came in. Sarr got himself away from Cucurella. Did turn it towards goal, but wide in the end from the Senegalese international. A couple of yards wide in the end. Kick taken short by Chelsea, and Lerma steals it off of Enzo Fernandez. Good battle between those two at the moment. Lerma turns around and gives it to Lacroix just inside his own half. Lacroix under no pressure finds Canvo, and they trade passes once more, and this time Palace go from right to left. Richards turns around and gives it to his keeper and captain, Dean Henderson, who has picked up a few caps for England. Has played 4 times, and he'll be looking to get himself on the plane for the World Cup in Thomas Tuchel's squad. I'm sure he is one of those names on that list. Richard sends the ball forward. It's returned by Chelsea, and that will roll out of play for a throw-in to the home team just inside the corner flag. In fact, there's an offside flag gone up, so Henderson will come out and kick the ball long. Returned by Chelsea, and it's found by Lacroix, who then goes back to his keeper, and they'll work from right to left. Ball to Mitchell. He has to control it well and then sends it long, headed away by Badiashile. Ball bouncing around in midfield, and it's Santos who then plays it back to Chalobah, who just heads it back to Robert Sanchez to get himself a little bit of control. Sanchez takes a couple of touches and finds Andre Santos, and his ball to Caicedo is not a good one. And the Palace steal it high up the pitch. Wharton finds Brennan Johnson. He plays it out to the left and asking a lot of Tyreek Mitchell, but Mitchell does get there. Takes the touch and sends the ball in first time towards Mateta, who heads it towards goal. Slides off his head and goes across the face, and Cucurella will bring it away. Cucurella plays it, long ball up the line for Neto, but it's going to slice off his foot and be a throw in to the home team. Canvo takes that quickly back to Maxime Lacroix. So we did mention that Palace have got this terrible record against Chelsea in the Premier League, 16 games without a win. But Oliver Glasner will be happy with how his side have started, and Reece James has put keeper Sanchez under a bit of pressure, but Sanchez does manage to get it away, and Chelsea will keep possession before Wharton steps in and steals it off of Fernandez. Plays it down towards Johnson on the left-hand side, but too strong for the Welsh winger. Signed from Tottenham in this transfer window. Hasn't been able to get on the ball much in this game. Cutting a bit of a frustrated figure on that left-hand side. Ball goes away for a goal kick to Chelsea. 31 minutes gone. Still goalless. Dean Henderson not made a save yet, but Chelsea have had a couple of attempts go wide. That was a good save from Robert Sanchez from Mateta in the 8th minute. But Other than that, a good tactical battle between Glasner and Rosinia. Currently, Lacroix has it on halfway. He goes left to Chris Richards. The American just rolls the ball to Adam Wharton, who clips it into space and finds Mateto, then plays it to Ismail Assar, who gets away from Caicedo and is brought down. And Caicedo, who's already had a yellow card, could probably count himself a little bit lucky there. Lacroix comes sprinting up to the referee to have a conversation because Sarr was about to break away into space. The referee just deems that to be a foul. So it will be a free kick to the home side. The patience needed from Crystal Palace as they do clip the ball in with Johnson. Headed it back in and headed away in the end. Canvo would try and keep the ball alive on the left-hand side. Estevao and Fernandez battling away, and then Canvo plays the ball back and he's put his side in trouble here as Estevao's through one-on-one. Breaking in towards the penalty box, the young Brazilian plays it through and scores! Chelsea take the lead at Selhurst Park. And it's the youngster, the Brazilian winger Estevao, with his second Premier League goal of the season. Poor pass in an attacking position from the young JD Canvo, and he making his third Premier League start for Palace this afternoon. He was up for the free kick and he's played it back and he's ended up playing Estevao through as a poor back pass in the end. And credit to the young Brazilian, he's had a lot of time to travel. He's managed to shrug off Tyreek Mitchell and he's thundered it past Dean Henderson. Chelsea find themselves in the lead at Selhurst Park, potentially against the run of play. But in the 35th minute, it's that second Premier League goal for Estevao. It's his first start under Liam Rosinia. Didn't play from the start against Brentford. And that's his second Premier League goal after scoring earlier in the season in that 2-1 home victory against Liverpool. A little bit shell-shocked. Crystal Palace take the kick off and send the ball forward high and long towards Mateta. It's headed away but will be bounced back by Wharton. Chelsea can't get it clear at the moment, but Mateta's flick on will roll through to Robert Sanchez. Just takes his time, places his foot on the ball, and when under pressure, then goes and picks it up. That goal coming from Crystal Palace's own free kick after a few of the Crystal Palace players were adamant that Darren England should have gone to his pocket for a red card for Caicedo. But nothing given. Chelsea play the ball into the channel. João Pedro pick it up on the right-hand side of the box. He finds Estevao, the goal scorer, in support. Estevao just gives it back to his captain Reece James, and then Andre Santos and Chelsea work it back into their own half. Crystal Palace with every outfield player behind the ball. Chalobah under no rush sends it back to Sanchez, who's just outside his own area. He'll clip it back to Chalobah and then into Reece James. Across to Andre Santos, who's lived dangerously in that midfield a couple of times. Ball across to Badiashile. He sends that up for Neto to run onto, but it's going to be too strong and that'll bounce through to Dean Henderson. Gets us back underway straight away by just rolling the ball out in front of him to Maxime Lacroix. Palace have on the left-hand side, clip forward towards Mateta, who tries to flick it on towards Saab. It doesn't quite fall for him, but Wharton will be able to get the ball out towards Munoz on the right-hand side. He goes sliding into a tackle with Cucurella. And there'll be a throw-in for the Chelsea left-back. His throw up the line towards Neto is hooked away by Palace, and Wharton just gets some control by returning it to the American Chris Richards. Richards back over to Canvo, the youngster who made that mistake for the Chelsea goal. Ball clipped forward up towards Mateta, who flicks it on for Sarr to try and run onto, but Cucurella right-footed smashes it away, and it's picked up by Caicedo, who threads the ball through towards João Pedro, and it's a good sliding recovery tackle from Lacroix. Being able to keep João Pedro quiet so far. João Pedro did get his 7th Premier League goal of the season in that last Premier League game against Brentford. Been quiet so far this afternoon. Mateta brings it down on his chest and finds Johnson, who hooks it over his shoulder towards Munoz on the right-hand side. He battles with Cucurella as a judge to have fouled the Spanish fullback. The Colombian helps him back to his feet. Cucurella did get there first and then felt the nudge of Daniel Munoz and went to ground. So 38 minutes gone at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0. Chelsea 1. 3 games in the Premier League at 2 o'clock this afternoon. All 1-0 to the away sides currently. So Chelsea know that a win in the short term would put them up above Liverpool into 4th. So Manchester United could improve their position later on in the 4:30 game away at the Emirates against Arsenal. Chalobah goes over to Sanchez, who then knocks it on to Badiashile, and Badiashile sends it high and long towards Pedro Neto to chase. It bounced a couple of times and Neto manages to keep it in by the byline. Canvo tracks him across and knocks the ball out of play for a throw-in. The dangerous position on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Not really a side that's utilised the long throw. Chelsea, so Cucurella with ball in hand looks for options that are short, and Pedro Neto is one of them. Ends up going to Caicedo in the end, who wriggles away from Adam Wharton and plays it from left to right over towards Esteval, but Mitchell gets ahead and smashes it long for Sarr to chase. Hooked away by Badiashile up to halfway, but Munoz heads it back towards Sarr, but it's a sloppy pass and Chelsea retain possession. Flick from João Pedro in towards Fernandes, but read by Chris Richards, and there's a turnover in possession once more. Adam Wharton takes the ball on and finds Munoz on the right hand side. Back into Wharton about 40 yards from goal. He goes from right to left over to Chris Richards. Richards takes a couple of touches and breaks in towards the penalty area before drifting inside. Knocks the ball over to Munoz once more. Munoz back to Wharton in the centre of the pitch. Chelsea dropping deeper and deeper. Lacroix has it just outside the centre circle. Threads the ball down to Munoz on the corner of the box. Goes back into Wharton again, who returns it out further to Sarr, then slips it down the line for Munoz, who sends it in first time, hit up in the air by Badiashile, and then nodded away by Neto. Only as far as Canvo. Canvo back to Sarr. Slow build up now from Crystal Palace. It's back with Wharton, who threads the ball in towards the bottom for Sarr, plays it across towards Mateta. It's cleared away by the Chelsea defence, and Chelsea will break once more. Caicedo brings it over halfway on the left-hand side. Chops back in the end and finds Andre Santos in the centre circle. Chelsea move it from left to right for Reece James. Reece James turns around and gives it to Chalobah. Only 4 minutes till half-time. Chelsea with the lead, just trying to keep possession. Santos plays it into Enzo Fernandez, who's under pressure from Chris Richards, but does really well to move it to Santos, who then switches play, but is cut out by Munoz. Plays it into Adam Wharton in the centre circle, who looks to drift forward as he always does. Finds Brennan Johnson, who plays the ball down the line for Sarr again. He gets to the byline, plays it in the box along the floor. Hacked away by Badiashile once more. Good pressure on that right-hand side from Crystal Palace in the form of Ismail Sarr. Ball over on the left-hand side this time, just in front of the dugouts for Mitchell. Mitchell back to Lacroix. Palace inside their own half at the moment. It's back to Canvo on this right-hand side. Canvo was that signing from Toulouse in the summer. French 121 international will be so disappointed when he sees that back pass back again. Finds Wharton, who plays it long towards Brennan Johnson, who brings it down, then plays in Mitchell on the left-hand side by the corner of the box. Mitchell has to go back to Richards in support, who shifts it out of his right foot and then tries to swing a ball in. It's headed away by Enzo Fernandez, and that's set Esteval free once more on the right-hand side. It's 2-on-3 here. Esteval breaks into the box on the corner, plays it across the goal towards João Pedro, and it's just in front of the Brazilian forward. And almost a carbon copy from the break that led to the goal. Esteval managed to get in front of Tyree Mitchell again, and this time his right-footed strike across the box was wide of the post and too far ahead of João Pedro. So very nearly doubling the lead. Palace break this time. It's Sarr driving through. He finds Mitchell on the left-hand side, who tries to play a cross in. It's blocked, but it does end up coming to Sarr. He finds Brendan Johnson on the edge, and good foot in from Andre Santos, and he takes the contact to win his side a free kick on the edge of the box. Just takes the sting out of the game. Oliver Glasner, arms folded, just walking around his technical area. Will be disappointed with the scoreline, but will be encouraged by how his side have played. They'll be ruining that missed chance from Mateta early on. 44 minutes gone here, and it is the away side that find themselves in the lead. 18-year-old Brazilian wonder kid Esteval with his second goal of the season. Ball played long by Sanchez, headed out by Richards, and it'll be a throw-in for Chelsea midway inside the Crystal Palace half, over on the far side. Reece James just takes his time, bounces the ball a couple of times and ekes forward. As Chelsea will look to get themselves into half-time in front. Throw down the line, cleared away by Lacroix, flicked on by Johnson. Mateta can't get it, so Chelsea will keep possession inside the Crystal Palace half. Cucurella drifts forward on the left-hand side. Ends up going back to Chalobah in the centre circle. Fourth official raises the board, and there'll be 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half here at Selhurst Park. Sanchez plays the ball into midfield, and good footwork from Pedro Neto to keep possession. Goes back to Badiashile, turns around and gives it back to the Spanish keeper once more. Takes one touch with his left foot and then sends it forward over halfway towards João Pedro, but Palace win the header and Munoz can flick it forward. Finds Sarr, brings it down on his chest, gets away from Badiashile, but the offside flag is up. Senegalese winger offside when he came to collect the ball. So Robert Sanchez will come 20 yards out of his box to take this kick. In no hurry, the Spanish keeper places the ball down, and it will be a long kick with his right foot over towards the left-hand side. Goes over the head of both Munoz and Neto and out of play for a defensive throw-in. 1 minute until half-time. Munoz throws it back to Canvo. Canvo, under pressure from Pedro Neto, managed to get away from the Portuguese winger and then is helped out by Lacroix as he sends it long, but Badiashile returns it. Canvo's let that bounce, looking for it to go out of play. It's going to hold up on the pitch, The young defender ends up giving it away to Pedro Neto on the left-hand side. Neto's touch is weak, and that will go out of play again for the throw-in to Crystal Palace as we tick towards half-time. João Pedro claiming he was fouled by Lacroix, dropping to the floor, but Darren England says no foul. Crystal Palace this time tries to send it long up towards halfway. Battle between Lerma and Fernandez continues, and Darren England will step in and call that a foul as Lerma then gets up and gives Fernandez a bit of a shove. Darren England decides that is enough for the first half and calls half-time, steps in between the two number 8s and encourages them to walk off the pitch. Half-time here at Selhurst Park, and it's Chelsea that will go in 1-0 up in an intriguing game between two sides. Mateta with a golden opportunity when he was through 1-on-1 after a defensive mistake from Badiashile in the 8th minute. Good save by Robert Sanchez, and then there was a defensive mistake on the other side which allowed youngster Esteval to break from halfway through 1-on-1, and he managed to drift across the pitch and buried his strike left-footed past Dean Henderson. So half-time at Selhurst Park, and it is that Esteval goal that is the difference. It's Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 1. See you for the second half.